Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to get back on the 90 Twin, start putting the electrics back in. I've got quite a bit of stuff done. I think since you saw it last, the carbs are on, the carb slides are in. Just a lot of stuff that you've seen before as far as when we were getting the thing running the first time. But just the other day we put the seal in, and now we're ready to put the dynamo and the rotor back in. So let's get to that, and maybe we can get some spark today. All right, I've got my keyway to the top there. It's pretty tight if I remember right. It's kind of unusual because usually they fall out. There we go. All right. And we'll try to get that. Where's my key at? There it is. Okay, I think we're on. And as you can see right down here, there's a pin that sticks out, and that is going to go right here on the stator, the dynamo, whatever you want to call it. And you want to make sure that your brushes are out. I think if they've got the electric start, you've got 4 brushes. This one has 2 for the generator. No electric on this one. All right, gonna have to move your hair just a little bit. And I've already cleaned all this, and I lightly sanded that with some 400 sandpaper, not emery cloth, and then blew it off and re-undercut where I needed to. Okay, on the, I have to back you up here just a little bit so you can see. When you put this thing in, you need to open your points up, and I've done that with, I've got a couple pieces of wood in here just to hold them open so you can get the to get it on past. This is going to go in there. I don't know whether I think it will work okay if I just go ahead and put this in, because it's gonna, you've got to get it through anyway. As long as you hold the points open, I think you're all right. Let me go ahead and get my little rubber hammer or plastic hammer and put that on there. I don't do enough of these to remember. You notice there that you've got an alignment pin right here and right there. So there we go. And I think that'll stay there without the bolt, but I'm going to put it on there, because it really doesn't stick up any more than and this, of course, is your eccentric here for your points. All right, so we've got our slot right here, and we're going to line that up with our pin and watch how things come through here. Yeah, it looks good. And like I said, make sure that your points are pulled back and your brushes are disengaged. Just kind of work it in there. Let's go ahead and see if the screws will start. I think I got it far enough. I'm pretty sure these are supposed to have lock washers on them. I'm going to run it down, then pull it back out and see if I can find some. Not that it's probably going to go anywhere, but and you just back and forth on this until you get it seated. See if I can get you a shot there. When it comes down flush right back here to these webs. And just make sure that your pin keeps going in the alignment hole. Okay, that's on the bottom. And I'm going to see if I can find a couple of lock washers. I'm just sure these are supposed to have them. Sure ain't going to hurt anyway. Okay, we've got a couple of them here now. Seems like all of them I've ever seen had them, so that kind of is in my brain somehow or another. All right, there's that. Okay, I went ahead and put the brushes in. It's so close back in here you really can't see. What you need is something like this with a little 90 on the end of it to pull your spring back, and then some hemostats or something to help you get the brush in there. So those are in, both of them, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the wood here from my points. And that was to get us over these little bumps here that are on each end of the lobe. And I'm going to try to get in here and get some lube on this, on the little lubricant holder here. Yeah, it's looking pretty set in its ways. I'm going to do a little cleaning on this and then we'll try to get it back in there. Okay, this was really pretty crusty. Had a lot of old grease. Right here you can kind of see where I just took my scribe and kind of pulled it off. And I'm getting in between here and just kind of raising this up a little bit. And I took my wire brush and cleaned that. We may have to bend the bracket a little bit, but we'll see if this will do it. And I'm going to put a little oil on it. Get the wick soaked good. I really much prefer the cam lube. I've had this a long time. I've probably said that before, but this is actually 4 points. So we got some oil in there, and now we're just going to get this grease kind of embedded in there. All right. That's actually what that's for. It's for points. I wonder if you can even get that anymore. Okay, I'll get you back up here and we'll get it back installed. Okay, before I get too far, I'm going to see if I can tighten this bolt up a little bit. I'm going to get on it from the other side here. I can't find it. There it is. And then just hold on the Kickstarter so that it will allow me to tighten it up. All right, should be good. And we'll see if we can get the lubricant pad back in there. This has got a little ted on it right here that goes in the hole just beside the screw hole. All right, yeah, looks like it's sitting down there on it where it ought to be, so that should be better. And now it's time to get all these wires hooked back up. So we'll just start with the white one. That's the one closest to the camera there. Just try to get them in the best position. So the white right here, these just kind of snap down on there, and then you can tighten them up. Then the gray or silver one. And then the green. It's not wanting to go in there. I guess I got to get some more slack in it. There it goes. And I can see where I need to kind of move this one a little bit so it's not so apt to touch it. That one I'm kind of tight on. I think it'll be all right though. But I really want it not to get close to the other one. There we go. And then we have the orange. and then the black is over here on the ground. All right, so everything's hooked back up. Looks okay. And we're going to go ahead and set all this stuff. Now I noticed that when we were running this before, that I was getting some spark out of this one, probably more so than you should. So it probably has a bad condenser. This one I actually replaced because the inside was, you could turn the inside into case. And although it was running something that I think I'd got it from Kevin Bergeron, that if you've got a sparky point set when it's running, it's probably a faulty condenser. And this one is, of course, just as old as the other. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to find one with this length of a lead on it. I'll probably have to make it. But anyhow, before we get into all that and get into setting it, we'll probably just check and see if we've got spark like we had before, just because nothing's changed other than we've had it apart and put it back together. So we'll probably go through the process and just see if we have spark. Okay, I went through all my stuff and I don't have a condenser that will work. So they seem to be pretty available on eBay, so I just went ahead and ordered a couple of them. I had a couple for, I've got I think it's a CS3 or a C3SC or something like that. Hey, anyhow, I had a couple, and one would have worked, but I would have had to cut this wire off. So I just didn't want to do that because I've still got to install them in that bike. So this one is a short one, so that I think it's actually the same as this one. So a few days I'll get that, then we'll go through the timing and everything on here. But as of right now, the only thing that we've done is put all this back together. So I'm going to go ahead and hook a battery up to it, and I have pretty well finished up the wiring. I think I've got everything hooked up in the headlight here except the headlight. And let's see, everything is good here. One thing that I want to do, and I usually do this, is I'm going to pull this fuse. This is a 20 amp. That's what the bike says it's supposed to use. I'm going to replace it with a 10. I like doing that just for safety reasons, and that's what I use a lot too when I just hook up for trying to, for spark and whatnot, is I just put a 10 in. That way if I've got any problems, I'm gonna know it right away. It's gonna kick it out. That's just my way because I'm just not that versed on all the electronics. And let's see, so I'm gonna hook my jumper here, and I got my battery right down here. And I'll go ahead and hook the positive up. And I've got the negative jumper there. And we'll just hook it up to the positive or the negative there. Let me get this one wrapped around this foot peg a little bit so it can't meander around. So everything is good so far. Let me get the spark plugs out. At least we'll see if it's going to smoke anything, and at the same time we'll be able to see whether or not we've got spark. This is really the first test of the new wiring harness. I still don't have the taillight hooked up, but I think everything else is pretty well hooked up. And we'll bring you over here so you can see. Let's see here, I'm going to go ahead and switch on. Fuse still intact, so we must be okay. Let's go around the other side. All right, I'm gonna kick her over. Let's see what we got. I think you can see that one. I'll quit sliding around. I'm gonna have to get something here to hold it on there. Not seeing any smoke or anything as of now. I'm just kind of put these hemostats up here to. That doesn't seem to want to work either. Everything wanting to slide around. Even that. Now let's see what we got. Okay, I've got them. Hope you do. This one's not quite as bright as that one. And I think that's, yeah, that's the right one. That's the condenser I think I need to replace. So I believe it is anyhow. Okay, looks like all that's still working. And I really haven't, I've got the pipe setting here, but it's just, I've got to figure out how to engage this brake light switch. I'm not real sure what I'm going to do. It probably needs a link of some sort, and I don't have one. So I guess I'm going to have to kind of look and see what I need to do. Let's see, go ahead and switch it off and pull my battery. Just get these jumpers out of the way. So we're as good as we were before. So the everything's working in here, or seems to be at this point. I will need to we'll need to check the charging and all that when we get it running. But as of right now, everything's good. We still got a good fuse in there, and I'm not seeing any wilted or smoked stuff. Everything feels good. Okay, so we're you can see here I've got the slides in, the choke's all working. I'm not real sure how this is as far as where it's located up and down in the bore of the carburetors. Guess we'll see when we get ready to start it up, because you know, this is already buttoned up here. It's kind of a pain. So if I can leave it, I'll leave it. If not, I guess I'll have to take it out to get everything done right. But I believe everything's good in here. There is a new set of brushes. We've got our chain on. Switch just worked. I've still got to get a wiring harness made to replace the old one there. It is getting hard. The reason why the electrical wires going up through here were in still good shape because they run through the handlebar and they're not exposed to the sun or the elements. Only about 2 inches or so where it comes out right here and then goes down, but it was still out of the weather enough so that they survived. And we've got the throttle pretty well hooked up, the brakes, clutch, all that. I don't know whether the clutch is going to be stuck or not. We'll find out when we get it fired up and do some testing. But I think I'll probably go ahead and get the exhaust back on. I've got them soaking. It's the pipes, the header pipes. The speedometer cable, I'm going to have to either cut one, a long one that I've got, and make it. I just need the inside. The outside sheathing is okay, but it was actually broke, and that I think it was because it was jammed up in here. I haven't tested the speedometer head up here yet to see whether or not it's good, but I really don't have any reason to doubt it at this point. So we're kind of back where we were. I don't know what I'm going to do about mufflers right now. I'm just going to use these. Hopefully I can find some better ones, but I just don't know about getting them chromed. I don't know how these. I've got to talk to some chrome platers and see what their feeling is about it. I'm just afraid they don't like all the oil in them. The YL1 that was imported into this country had a bolt back here, maybe 2 bolts, where you could remove the whole inner piece. These are spot welded in. This is the Asian model, 1890. So it's got to, if it gets done, it's got to go with the whole piece. So I just don't know how they're going to feel about that. Anyhow, I think we're making progress here. Okay, guys, there you have it. Another little update on the twin jet 90. Pretty much got the electrics checked out. I've got to finish up the wiring harness that goes to the tail light and hook up the headlight. But other than that, looks like everything is, we're not having a meltdown, so I think we're all right. The horn does work, so it's okay. I tested that off camera there, but everything else looks good at this point. So I'll get a new condenser, then we'll go through and set the timing on this thing and make sure everything is as it should be. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride, and we'll see you next video.